Welcome to the Ride This Out podcast, where we talk about how to improve your mental health and strengthen your connection to nature and your community, all through one simple solution: the bicycle. My name is Zach Golding, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker and mental health therapist. I'll be your host as we discuss the power of pedaling. And we are rolling. Good to have you here for the episode 1. I'm going to call these sessions, actually, though, because that's what I am. I'm a therapist. We do therapy sessions. And I hope to have you guys along for the ride as we all kind of learn from each other. Within this first session, though, I want to just introduce myself a little bit more, kind of where the idea of ridethisout.com, the blog, the podcast, the Instagram, all that stuff got started. I've been a therapist now for over 10 years. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. So what that means is I got my bachelor's degree in psychology, actually. I didn't get in social work, but then I got my master's degree in social work from the University of Utah. And then after 2 years of getting my hours in and everything, then I became a licensed clinical social worker. And like I said, that's been over 10 years ago. So I work primarily as a therapist, working at a youth crisis shelter, helping kids that are going through some difficult times and helping them through things. And so I wanted to share some of my experiences as a bicycle rider and how that's helped me. And also, really what I want to do with this podcast is have guest riders on and interview them and hear their experiences and their stories, because there's a power that comes from sharing stories and sharing experiences. And the whole idea is to encourage and promote and help people with their mental health, with their physical health, their overall wellness, and also just connecting with their communities and with nature and empowering others. So, so a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, I was playing some basketball. I love playing basketball. It's one of my favorite pastimes. And I came down, had a really nasty injury, ankle injury. I'll spare you the details of it because it was pretty gruesome. But to the point, it was a really bad ankle sprain. I'll go into it. If you're a little bit squeamish, skip ahead 30 seconds. But my whole ankle dislocated, popped out. I popped it back in immediately, but it was messed up. So I went and got an MRI. Sure enough, I had torn, 4 or 5 ligaments completely, and I was devastated. I thought for sure I would need surgery, and I didn't want to have surgery because I had surgery 6 years before on my right knee. I had a torn ACL in my knee, again, playing basketball. And so after that, I was like, I don't want to do surgery. I don't want to go the rehab process. So I go and talk to some podiatrists. I talk to some foot doctors about my ankle injury, and they consulted a lot with different foot doctors as well. And one of the things that they told me is that it could heal. That if I put it in a boot, immobilize it, get on one of those little scooters, get on some crutches, non-weight bearing for a couple months, there's a potential that it could heal. So I was like, I'm all in. I'm going to try whatever I can do to treat this thing without having to do surgery. And so we go that route, and during that process too, I'm researching different things. I reached out to my buddy, Cade Archibald, who's actually a guest writer on the blog. Him and his brother, they run some wellness clinics about pain management and helping with different things, and got me hooked up with PRP, platelet-rich plasma, which I know nothing about, but it was a really cool process. And so I went through that whole thing, doing all these different injections, doing a bunch of acupuncture, some kind of alternatives to helping me heal. And 2 months go by, and lo and behold, it heals. It was awesome. It was a really cool treatment process. But one of the things that got me through that is the idea and the hope of riding my bike again. And I was going to, I had a mountain bike trip planned at the end of the summer with my cousins. It's an annual trip that we've been doing for the past few years, and it's just super fun. We love going. We love riding together. We were going to go down to St. George, and so I was going to just heal up for that. And I did. And as I rode during that trip, it was so much fun. It was just what I needed mentally. It was a hard summer, not being able to be active. I love hiking. I love playing ball. I love biking. I love doing all sorts of different things. Playing with my kids. I've got 3 sons. And so now I couldn't do any of that. And so finally rehabbing that, over those few months, it felt great. And to the point where I came back from that trip and I was like, yeah, I think I'm good to play some basketball, after doing a bunch of physical therapy and feeling ready. And so I called my buddies again and like, yeah, come out, let's play. So I do. And I go out the first day, and first few games, I'm feeling good. I'm hitting some jump shots. Even a bunch of my buddies were like, yo, you're back. It's good to have you back. And within 15 minutes, I'm going down the floor and I stop and I plant and my knee just gives out. This is my same knee 6 years ago that I had messed up my ACL. And I knew instantly what had happened. I had retorn my ACL and my stomach just dropped. And honestly, it wasn't like super painful physically. It was just like this gut punch of like, are you kidding me? And yeah, sure enough, I go in, I get an MRI done, and the results are the past graft that was in my knee had completely torn. So, man, at that point, I was trying to avoid surgery all summer, and it was just inevitable. Like I'm researching different alternatives to an ACL. It's a little bit different than my ankle ligaments, in that when the ACL snaps, it's like a rubber band and it's gone, and you're not going to reattach those tendons. And I still wanted to be active somewhat. And, a lot of people go through life without ACLs, but they're not able to do a lot of their activities and being physical as much as they want. And so I was just like, all right, well, here we go again. 6 years before, we're back at this. And so I go and consult with my surgeon, and this was a different surgeon this time. And the surgery was a success. This was about 7 months ago now, that this surgery happened as of when I'm recording this. But those were tough, man. That was a tough time mentally for me. Again, just knowing the whole rehab process, the physical therapy, the grind that is. And because I'd done it before. But as I was researching stuff, one of the constant things that I was reading is that bicycle riding, was a major help to a lot of people as they were rehabbing. And a lot of stuff that I was reading, it was like, 2.5, 3 months after surgery, you can start riding a bike again. I mean, limited, but you can start riding again. And I thought, okay, I can do 2.5 months. I can do 3 months. I can get it to that point. Because before, basketball was my life, and it was like, you can't play for 9 months to a year. And that just seems so daunting of like, I can't be physical for, I can't do that for a year. But I was like, I could do 3 months. I could, So before my surgery, I actually, I found an old road bike, just on the classifieds online. Someone had been selling it, it was like 15, 20 years old, but it was my size. It's hard to find a bike my size. I'm a tall guy. And I found it. I drove about an hour and a half to go get it, and it was fun. I've never road biked before. I've primarily been a mountain biker. I did some BMX back in the day. I do some just casual riding. I converted one of my old mountain bikes into an e-bike that I commute to work with all the time. I love biking, and hence this podcast and this whole idea, but we'll get into a lot of that other stuff later. But this road bike, I'm like, okay, that was kind of like what I was looking forward to, because it was going to be during the winter months when the roads were dry. I could get out and ride it a little bit. And so, 3 months into my surgery, I take my first ride on that. I mean, I'd ridden it before surgery, but then, after my surgery, rehab and getting back to it, take my first ride. Oh my gosh, it felt so good. Just my mind was so clear. Everything that I was working towards, it just felt amazing, right? And so again, as I'm rehabbing and everything, I'm thinking there's something to this bicycling stuff that's not only helpful physically, but for my mind, for my emotions, mentally, to just clear things up. And again, during the rehab process, I was down a lot of the time, and I got thinking, it'd be fun to write about this, like do a little blog about it. And so, I'm researching different ways on how to create a blog and create a website to just discuss this more, because I have a lot of friends that are big into biking. We always talk about it. I have some coworkers that they ride to work too. I ride to work. We're always talking about it. Different people are asking me different pointers and tips and ideas. And when you talk about bicycling, you just feel good, right? It's just there's something therapeutic about it. The writing process, again, is like writing things down. That's a therapeutic process as well. And so that was very therapeutic for me to kind of write through some things and just kind of what it means to me and how it helps me. And then I thought, I need to let other people share their stories and promote this and help people see that, like, riding a bike isn't just a recreational activity. It's a tool. It can be a tool for your mental health, for your physical health, but also a tool to just connect to your community, to get from point A to point B, to get to school, to get to work. Like, there's so much that can come from riding your bicycle. And so as I've been reaching out to people to become guest writers, you like that? See what I did there? Guest writer. Kind of funny, right? But no, as I'm reaching out to different people, a lot of my friends, a lot of family, a lot of neighbors and stuff were like, yeah, I would love to write about my experience. And so that was been really fun too, to get people to write about their experience of riding and how it helps them, clears their mind. And so, we will continue to do that on the blog. We'll have guest writers every once in a while on there. But one thing that I found is that as I had people writing about their experiences, I wanted to dig deeper, right? The therapist inside me wants to ask some follow-up questions and kind of what they're thinking, what they're feeling, what's going through their minds, how it helps them. And so I wanted to, just kind of open it up a little bit more. And so that's why I was like, man, maybe I could do a little bit of a podcast where it becomes kind of an interview type of therapeutic session where we discuss some of these things. So that's where this podcast comes from. That's why I'm starting this. So, anyways, I'm glad y'all are here. If you want to be featured on this, if you want to discuss some of these things, hit me up. You can find me on Instagram at ride.this.out. You can find me online, ridethisout.com. Send me an email, find my information on there. But or if you have someone else that you know that's big into riding that might want to share their experiences about bicycling and how it's helped them. But again, we've all ridden bicycles, right, from a young age, and we all have felt the joy that comes from it. And so I'm hoping that we can get back into that and re-access some of those memories and rekindle some of that love that we have for riding and helping other people out as well. So again, happy that you're here. Share with others. Let me know what you think. But yeah, I appreciate your patience as we just kind of get this thing off and rolling. Not much else left to say, but I'm excited. So thanks for being here. And yeah, let's ride this out.